All right, so this one says, which statement is true about the tangent function? And then I threw a graph down here of a tangent function. Remember, the tangent function is blue. So it says, the first one says, the tangent function has a midline and a period, but no amplitude. It doesn't really, how do I word this? Yeah, it's because it's sine over cosine, there's a interesting thing. It certainly has a period. It can have an amplitude to some degree. So when we take that function and we multiply it by a number, it stretches it vertically. The way that we measure it is not the same. But it doesn't really have it does have a midline, sort of, but that it's not the same. So that first statement is a little misleading and not true. Okay. It has something that looks like a midline, but when we think about the formal mathematic definition, no. It says that the tangent, so A is wrong. So that one's wrong. B, the tangent function has an amplitude and midline, but no period. That's not true. It has a period. The tangent function has a midline, but no period and no amplitude. Well, it has a period. And like I said, technically it doesn't have a midline, and technically it doesn't have an amplitude. There's by definition the amplitude, because it's not what we call a sinusogenous function. It's not a wave, because you're taking sine, which is a wave function, and you're dividing it by another wave function. The final product is this. It doesn't oscillate. And so when we think of amplitude, we're thinking of how much does it oscillate up and how much does it oscillate down, because the oscillations are the same. So if you look at this green function, this is cosine, right? The green function is cosine. It oscillates. It goes up and down. And so the amplitude is what is the distance from the midpoint, the midline, up to the peak. And that should be, if it's a true harmonic oscillator, then it'll be the same down. I shouldn't even use that terminology. But if it should be the same distance from the peak to the valley in a sine wave. And cosine is just a cofunction of sine. But tangent is a different thing. It's sine divided by cosine. And so the ratios and the values are different. So really, it's D. We're going to say D because it does have a period, because both sine and cosine have periods. So it does have a period, but it doesn't have an amplitude and it doesn't have a midline. So D is the correct answer.